Last time on the Just Create SMP, I created this incredible metal factory that takes cobble and turns it into gold, zinc and copper. And it works very well. It's been running for quite a while now, generating me a whole bunch of gold and a reasonable amount of zinc and copper, as well as a wandering trader. And that's because it has no building around it and things just get into it. And at one point, while I was doing a bit of AFK, even a skeleton managed to go through the crushing wheels and completely block up my copper and clay coming through these tunnels. So that was fun. The other minor oddities that happen at this farm are that occasionally it just completely runs out of cobblestone, even though we've got an automatic system set up in place to basically keep it full of cobblestone using this minecart track and the massive cobblestone generators that we've got underneath here that are all absolutely full to the brim of cobblestone. For some reason, every now and then it just decides it's not going to have any. But it's fine, because then it fills itself up again and everything starts working absolutely great until a skeleton gets in it and blocks it up. Which is exactly why we need to build a building around it. And it's gonna be a big building. It's going to need a towery bit around that. It's going to need other bits around this. We need an entranceway so we can actually get in to see it. And I would very much like it to have another monorail track like that one so that we can continue the monorail around the mountain and then at some point drop all of the stuff off inside. But I don't actually have a monorail yet, so I'm going to have to build one of those at some point. But not right now. Right now I need to make a building around this, and the first thing I'm going to do is basically copy and paste that monorail track over here. But before I can do that, there's a Mr. Beardstone. Hello, Mr. Beardstone.
Hello. Quick question.
Yeah.
Do you have any intentions of restocking your bone shop? Your CE shop with all the bones? I know you've been having trouble, but I really need some bone blocks.
Let's fly over and see what we've got over at the Prismarine farm, because I don't know what we've got in terms of bones, because I have actually been using a few of them for the tree farm. So let's go check it out. I do have intentions of restocking the shops, but I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that yet, mainly because I've had a lot of people saying, why don't I just build a dry track under the ocean for my boat and still use my boat, which sounds like a lot of work. But it does.
That is exactly why I've not made boats, is because I don't want to have to hide a track under the ocean.
No, but it might solve us a few problems. So yeah, maybe use my... I'm still deliberating whether to do that or just add a new train in that just does it properly.
Yeah.
But if we look in here, I have 2.7 thousand bone blocks.
Okay. Can I have 15 stacks?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yay!
I need to get power on, though, to get them. Oh, no, actually, we don't need to. They'll be in...
No, not for this guy.
They're going to be over here in this vault, right? So all we need to do is request them.
And then they'll come out here.
Yeah. So you just need to grab the packages.
Cool.
Are you ready?
Awesome. Yes.
15 stacks. Okay.
Yes, please. I've used so many bone blocks on this golf course, Foxy.
I know. I keep seeing you using loads of bone blocks, and I was
They've
like,
all
"Where's he
come
getting
from
all?"
you.
Oh, really? Are they all the ones I've produced? Have they? Is that the right number? Did I put the right number in there?
You gave me too many. You gave me an extra 9.
An extra 9 stacks? Can't be doing with that, Mr. Beardstone.
Yeah, you gave me an extra 9 stacks, Foxy.
Do you want to buy another 9 stacks, Mr. Beardstone?
So, Foxy, that was literally the very last diamonds I have.
Oh,
I have
really?
spent every single diamond I own
on Chosen's factory.
buying things for the golf course. To be honest, I've spent a lot on bone blocks. I think pretty much every stack you had, I have bought. But no, I've just spent every penny I own on that golf course.
Right. Hoping it's going to make you a lot of money then as people play it once.
I'm not really bothered about that. There's a competitive time trial mode, Foxy, where you can win a golden golf cart.
I'm never going to beat that, but I do want the golden golf cart. I did see you build that in your last video. So yeah, I kind of want that. And now Mr. Beardstone's gone, I can get back to making this monorail bit. And building this track is relatively simple. First of all, we need some copycat stairs along here, and some more across the other side. Then we just need some copycat slabs between those. And then we need to do a little bit of texturing with our weathered iron blocks and our normal industrial iron blocks. Just like that. Not that one. Then we need some girders that are look like about 4 blocks tall. 4 and then the top bit. Okay, I can do that. Okay, there are all of our little girdery bits in place. Now there were lanterns on those around the sides. How did I do that? Are they just literally hanging from the bottom? No, they're on brackets. Of course they are. No problem. I can do that as well. And all you got to do is hold shift while you try and click on the girder so it doesn't place it in the girder. Stick your bracket on like that. And did you know you don't have to break brackets to just change their position? You can just click on them in different orientations and they will change, which is quite nice. And I just need to do that on each one of these. Lovely. And there we go. Just in time for nighttime. But before we get to nighttime, let's actually get the track on top. And yes, I know this rail doesn't look like actual monorail, but we don't have steam and rails because it's not available for our version of Create yet, which is very frustrating, but that's what we've got and that's what we're going to have to put up with. Now I need to link that over to this one over here and see if we can get it to join. We cannot make slope test bends. Don't tell me I built it all in the wrong place. Oh, geez. Now, we're not allowed slope test bends, but we can have S-bends on the same plane. So what I need to do is basically get this down to the same level as that one over there. And currently, we're at level 94. Ow. And this one here is at level 87. So I can either make this one go up and then go round, or make it go round and then go up. But I think we'll go up first because of this mound here. So let's get rid of that, make that go there, and then I guess we just need to go up to, what did I say, 94? I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention. Slope too steep. Oh, jeez. You're so finicky. Well, where can, I can get, right, okay, so I can go to there, like that, and then I can grab that, and now this should join on over here without too much of a problem, hopefully. I haven't got not enough track. And there we go. That looks okay, but it also looks a bit wiggly. I think this slope is too steep. So what we're going to do is undo everything that I've just done, bring this bit out a reasonable amount further, all the way along here like this, and then see what's the tightest little S-bend that I can make, so that then I can figure out the slope better. Oh, I can go all the way to there. Well, I think that's a little bit tight. So let's bring that back to maybe about there, and then we'll go down on our little slope from there, just like that. Does that look better? Yeah, I think once we've got girders and things in, that'll look a whole bunch better. And there we go. We've got a couple of girders in place, holding it up a little bit, but we do need to add a bit more structure and support to that in the future. But for now, I think that'll do nicely, which means we've now got a monorail track coming over to here. And that means we can start building our building. Now, at the front of that one, we actually had a little bit of an overhang with some outside bits before we actually got into the factory. Sadly, however, because of the layout of this one, we're going to have no room for that at all, which means we're not even going to have a platform to the monorail until we get to this bit. So our building's going to have some very interesting shapes, and I haven't thought about any of them. I suppose it's about time I started figuring out a layout for this, and for that, I'm going to need a very similar block palette to what we've got going on over there, because that's the block palette we're using in this area, with the deep slates and the limestones and the coppers and the industrial irons, and it's the same stuff I got on my boat. Although that's got copper on the roof, which is quite nice. I suppose I could add copper to it. It is a copper factory after all. And a few minutes later, I think I've got everything I need, starting with a whole bunch of limestone, followed by some of the tuff that we used for the floor in case we need to extend or add bits to this. Then we've got a whole bunch of different granite blocks, as well as some more granite blocks and some deep slate bricks. In here, we've got even more variations of deep slate, and then we've got some industrial iron, some weathered iron, a few windows, and then that leads us to all of the little bits for decoration, as well as all the copycat bits, and then we've got some more decorative bits and a little bit more there as well. So we should have everything we need. So without further ado, I think we should start placing some blocks, and I think we should start by trying to mask this cobblestone generatory bit first, and then we'll probably have a little bit of a building over there, and then maybe a front bit over here that's a bit lower, and try and make it look all uniform but also different. You're gonna make it interesting? Yeah, I'm gonna make it look really interesting. Oh, I like it when you make it look interesting. Shut up. Shut up. All right, shut up. I'll give you interesting in a minute. So let's start with the big building that we're going to be having around the cobblestone generator, and in order to give myself enough room to get round it, realistically we need to be building it out to about here, so at least I can get down the sides. So we're going to use these granite pillar blocks to just make a square around this bit of the building, and I'm already thinking that might not be enough room. I kind of want that actually coming into the building as well though. So what I might do at this point is get rid of all of that, dig out this bit a little bit, and extend the floor down here so it reaches up with the side of the mountain, and then we can perhaps build our building sort of maybe back a few blocks into here, something like that maybe. And then once we've done that, at this point here, we should probably actually come in a little bit so that we can then start going around that part of the building, but we won't actually have any walls on the inside until we get high enough up to sort of block off that bit. So we'll worry about that bit later. Let's get this bit sorted out, and then I'll build some walls. Okay, I've added the new floor in, I've added some stairs down to it, and I've put in these very basic walls around this bit so far. Obviously, we need to link that into our main building, and it's going to need a roof. It's also going to need scruffing up a little bit with a little bit of texture, so I'm just going to smash some holes in this stuff. Relatively randomly, but also not quite so randomly. And in these little gaps where I'm making all of these holes, I'm just going to add in a couple of the different tuff textures. So we've got some of the smooth tuff, which we'll be using in the big holes like this, just to make those walls feel a little bit more worn. And I think the bits where it's particularly bad, as if it's sort of leaking in from the top, what we'll do is add some of just the normal tuff in there. And that should give it sort of a more wet, damp sort of feel to it. And there we go. We've got a bit of texture in the walls now. Nothing too major, but it just sort of breaks them up a little bit. Now it needs a roof on it. And for the roof, I'm thinking relatively basic because this is sort of an outbuilding. And nothing says more basic for the roof than spruce slabs. So that's what I'm going to go with for this bit. And we can muck these up and texture them a little bit later on. And I don't think it needs to be much more interesting than a very, very... You said interesting, you did it. Oh, jeez, I did. Stop it. I need to stop saying interesting when I'm building. It's not interesting. It's aesthetic. It's nice. It's pretty. Anyway, what I was going to say before I was rudely interrupted by myself is that we can make this roof look a little bit more scruffy and worn a little bit later on. Maybe we'll throw some dark oak into this as well, or something just to make the spruce planks look a little bit less plain. But for now, this is what we got. And for the windows, I've just added in these industrial iron window panes because I think they fit the grey scale a lot more than the weathered ones, and that should just about do us for that outbuilding, aside from a little bit of aesthetics and lighting that we can add in later on. Speaking of lighting, we probably should put some lights in here for now, just so that it's not completely dark. And what I also need to do is sort of finish off this back wall as well, just so that we're not seeing all of that dirt and stuff through there. Let's just bring that down to there and that down to there, and we'll do the same thing there. And I think that looks better. Up here on the roof, what I was actually thinking is occasionally we'll just sort of chuck a couple of those sticking out there like that, and it just makes the roof feel a little bit more messy, a little bit more interesting. No, not it. No, a little bit more worn and sort of old thatchy. I don't know. I like it. Looks nice. Looks interesting. Oh, shut up. And there we go. That's the roof done. We just need lights on the inside and some aesthetic-y bits to make it look a bit nicer. Okay, aesthetics then. I think the first thing we should start with is the same thing we start with everywhere, and that is just throwing a whole bunch of girders in, making everything look a little bit more structural and industrial. From these, we can prop up the ceiling a little bit and even add a little bit onto the chain drive, making that feel like it actually is supposed to be there. And oh, geez, this jetpack. Then what I was going to say is we'll have a beam going across there. And on that beam, we can throw on a light there. I guess we could probably have some more lights in this corner, doing the old shaft and bracket and lantern thing. We should probably add in some safety panels in here as well to stop us accidentally walking onto the track, a little bit like what we did in the last one. And I was thinking, since this is bringing cobble in, we could have a little pile of cobble sort of propped up against the window there, and maybe a little bit more here. But I haven't got any cobble, so I'm gonna have to steal some off one of these packages. Thank you very much. Now, let's pile up a little bit of cobble around here and stick on some copycat stairs and maybe one of those just to give it a little bit more shape. There we go. That doesn't look too bad. I think the top looks a bit awful. Let's just throw that bit on there. There we go. That's not a bad little pile of cobble. And we'll do the same thing over here as well. Just like that. Lovely. Safety rails and cobble piles. Everyone's favourite things. Don't want cobble piles. It sounds painful. Does sound painful, doesn't it? And then at the top and the bottom of the windows, we're going to be using these copycat slices to create a little bit of a sill. And I'm just going to texture those with these tough bricks just because they blend in quite nicely, but are also a little bit darker so you can kind of see them. The last thing I want to do on here is add in some pointless shafts with brackets on, because why not? Don't need that one down there. And these just add a little bit of structure, a little bit like the girders do. So I'm going to have another one of those along here at the bottom here. So just run that all the way up to the top, and another one there. run that up to the top, get rid of the bottom ones, and stick on the little brackety things. Wait, I forgot to add glow lichen. I mean, technically, I would normally do this right at the end of the build, but since we're going through it bit by bit, it makes sense to add it on now. Throw a little bit on there to help that blend a little bit. We'll add some over here at the top. Don't want to go too crazy with this stuff because it can get a little bit overwhelming, but a few spots here and there should... I don't like this gap we've got here, especially with the... Yeah, I think we're going to extend that over to there in a minute. But for now, let's just chuck on a couple of these here and there. Maybe a couple on the floor as well. And there we go. It adds almost nothing. Perfect. So with that hole now patched in, that is our first little outbuilding completely complete, meaning it's time to work on the actual main building. And because I've already done plenty of talking about how we do all this, I think it's time for a time lapse. What the... What's going on with the gold? Is this just another... Is it full? The gold is full. Wait, I can't believe it. Oh, geez, I may not be doing the building just yet. I think we need to make these vaults bigger. And there we go. We now got loads of gold. So now it's time-lapse time. Just about finished as well. So anyway, we have a building around our factory, which is dark. Hang on a minute, that's better. It's not quite so dark now. And I'm just adding in the finishing touches, which is basically doing something I already did a few times, which is plugging in our display boards. These things. I believe that's everything linked back to them. And if you're wondering why we've got duplicates on things like that, it's just because I've moved them around and I haven't wiped what was in those slots originally, which is what I'm about to do now. So I've got a clipboard. I'm going to write raw materials on that and click on that top slot there, and that's going to give us our raw materials. And then on this one, I'm writing finished blocks, clicking that on there. And then I'm going to do a line of equals. And I know I could do more than one line at once, but that's what I'm going to do and throw that there. And now I'm just going to color them all in so they're nice and easy to see at a glance. Throw one of those there and one of those there. Red sand will have orange, that's slightly more brown, and those are gray. There we go, lovely. It's a shame that one doesn't have an underline under it, but yeah, there's not enough space on the board. So there we go. Anyway, you might notice that says finished blocks rather than finished ingots, and that's because I've taken away the 3 vaults that were coming out of here, replaced it with one big vault, and I've added in 3 more presses, which basically crush all of those things down, or press them all down into blocks before they go in, just giving us a whole bunch more space available inside of this vault, stopping it from filling up and allowing me to actually have some access inside of this building, which I don't even know what it looks like yet. I haven't done a flyby. It's very dark at the bottom. I might have wanted to go with some slightly not black materials for that, but apparently I chose the same ones. I think this should all be limestone, so it contrasts with the black here. And we should maybe have not gone for a black roof, which is what I did over here as an overhang. Let me just throw that limestone in. Well, that certainly makes that side of the building look a whole bunch better. This side still looking very dark and black, but I think it'll do for what we're trying to achieve. At the end of the day, we don't need anything crazy over there. I did toy with the idea of having sort of another square building here that was about the same level as that, but I'm not 100% sure how I want to achieve that. So for now, that's what we're going to go with. And that means the only thing that I need to do now is just rough it up a little bit with a little bit of glow lichen here and there just to, give it a little bit of texture. Not too much. Don't want to go too crazy, but I do want to just have a little bit here and there just sort of growing up from the floor, and in places where we got some overhangs as well, I think it would be a good idea. Well, don't I feel silly? I've recorded a whole bunch of stuff and then realized that I've not recorded any of the audio. So here's a quick recap of what I did. First of all, I added all of the glow lichen to the buildings, making them look a little bit more like they've actually been here a while and a little bit less bland. Then I decided that I didn't like the buildings, specifically this little bit of roof here, as it sort of connects to that, making it feel like this lower building is completely swamped the bigger building. So my plan is to basically make this roof lower down as part of this building and separate it somewhat from that one. And in order to do that, I need to push this wall back out of the way. But the problem was, inside of here, there was just way too much stuff all in the way. But it's gone now because I've moved it. What I've had to do is push these crushing wheels as far back. In fact, you know what? I'll just do here's a quick time lapse of me doing that, and then I'll talk about it. Told you it'd be quick. So yeah, I moved these crushing wheels back a little bit. I brought all of this back as far as I could to minimize the footprint of that. And instead of having just the gold coming out into this vault, spitting out the dead bushes there, I'm combining all of the gold, the copper, the zinc, and the clay balls coming out onto this conveyor here, which then goes into there. The clay balls then come out of there and go down there. And then these two presses handle turning everything into ingots and then into blocks, which then go through there. But then I had a problem, a cobblestone problem. You see, in order to test the copper and zinc coming through this, I need to get cobblestone back into the system. And while we've got plenty of cobblestone coming through into this system here, we didn't have any coming back to our frog. And that's because I moved all of the chain conveyors. The chain conveyors now come along here and across here, and this frog wasn't connected to them. But it is now, and now we can get all of that tasty cobblestone. So now we've got cobblestone going back in the system. We're once again creating the dripstone and the tuff, which is now running through here. And that just proves that these basins are completely capable of dealing with all three different metal types in just one basin. However, I was a little bit concerned that there might be a recipe, something like pressing copper and zinc nuggets together made something else, but there aren't. So we can quite happily just run all of those through these two presses, and that's now creating all of our blocks, meaning that I can actually now move this vault over significantly further, giving us a little bit more room at this doorway coming in here, so that I can actually have a system where I can come in and take some of those items, because currently they're all in here and I can't get them out. So I'm going to need a bunch more vaults, but I'm also going to need some inventory space, because as soon as I start moving this across, well, let's just put it this way, all that gold's going on the floor. And there we go, I've got a whole bunch more room in my inventory, which means with this sugar box here, which is empty, I should have enough space, hopefully, go away cobble, to start doing the old smashy on here. So first of all, I need to break that, bring this back a little bit, which means my gold's going to go on the floor. That's fine. And I'm then going to do this to make a small vault there and put that back on there. Then I bring these back as far as I can, all the way to there. And then we do the dangerous thing, which is to one of these is going to spit gold everywhere. I've got a feeling. No? Oh, lucky. What about... Oh, there we go. Jeez. Oh, no. Good. Oh, look at all this space. I need to move these, obviously, now, but that's fine. And now I just spend a week throwing all of these back in here. Throw all of these in here. And there we go. All of the items are back inside the vault. Excellent. Now I can move these again. And there we go. Everything's reconnected back up to the screens up here, so that's good. The tuff needs to be pushed over by... Hang on a minute. It's not perfect. Need to get to the tuff quick through the obstacle course of many things. Here it is. One more space there. Thank you very much. Excellent. Now everything should be reconnected to those display boards. Everything should be behaving nicely, and we've got a whole bunch of space there for a collection system. Yes, it's all perfect. At last! Except for the fact that I haven't been recording any game audio. Jeez. Well, apart from that, it's perfect. Now this game audio, listen. If I look... Very noisy. And just sitting here watching these things tick up while I did a little bit of editing, I noticed that my power is going in and out. Occasionally you get the little smoke particles that suggest everything, they're just like that. Everything's overstressed. And I think there's a problem with my power station. So let's head down there. So once again, going back into the depths of my storage system-y workshop that doesn't have a workshop in it. If I hop down here and just drop off the edge here, we can see already that some of my steam engines are not, well, they're not doing anything. And that's the same over here as well. I'm not 100% sure why. I'm going to guess that this mechanical arm has decided it's not going to work. And it looks to me like these things are missing a bucket. Yeah, there we go, look. I don't know how they're missing a bucket or where their buckets have gone, but they are indeed missing buckets. So I'm just going to make my way round. Give this one a bucket over here as well, because it looks like this one's missing. There you go, have a bucket. And that should hopefully solve the problem. But even with... Oh no, this one down... Have you now somehow lost your bucket? Where are all the buckets going? Are these funnels broken? Are they just not letting buckets go in? You've got no bucket either. What? This is so weird. They had buckets a minute ago, and now they've got no buckets, almost like the buckets have just vanished. I could create, it works perfectly. Oh, geez, I'll go get some more buckets. Well, this should hopefully be enough buckets. But I'm more concerned about why they vanished in the first place, and why is it always me? Why do I have all of these problems? It doesn't seem to affect anyone else. So you've got no buckets at all. So here, have 8 buckets. There you go. Which don't like being there. Okay, have 8 buckets on that. Have we got a lava problem? We just maybe not got enough power to... And now where have those buckets gone? Oh, they're in there. How did they... What? The buckets are now in that vault, but they... What? I think we need to restart the server. Okay, the server has been restarted and logging back in. Are we going to have any improvements now, or is this going to continue doing weird things? We now have absolutely no lava in most of these things, so the lava has just disappeared and the buckets have disappeared, and none of the little pipey bits are filling with lava. Very handy. Now, it appears on this side things are working okay. These ones are behaving as normal. That one's got lava and that one's got lava. So it's literally just the ones on the other side which are just not having any of it. So what's the problem here? Is the pump playing up? If I get rid of the pump and turn the pump round, is that going to work? No? Why is the lava like going down from here? How is it pulling? What is going on? Right, okay, break that, put it back. 38. What? Is this because I'm taking lava for the gold farm? Because if so, it doesn't explain why the buckets are going missing. I need a block. I just need any block. I just need a block. What's in here? There we go. Cobblestone. I'm going to disconnect this lava line, put that there, and see if that does solve the problem. And now the buckets have uninvisibled themselves and are working. So I guess the issue was invisible buckets rather than missing buckets. Is that where I'm taking the lava out for my copper farm? Oh, is that the problem? Have I crossed wires again? Huh. Okay, I got a plan. What? Insta-killed? What's going on? I had full health and the minecart, I didn't even touch the minecart and it killed me. I think create mod broken, mate. See, that didn't insta-kill me. It barely did half damage, but I just got insta-killed by it. Okay, I am removing the connections for every single one of these pipes that comes across the top because I don't need any of these pipes running across the top. I think we're getting all sorts of confused with what's happening between the pipes, and some are pushing and some are pulling, and it just doesn't know how to handle it. It's not how they work. Well, it kind of is and it kind of isn't, but this hopefully will solve the problem. You're just taking too much for your farm. No, I'm not taking too much. That's not the problem at all. It's confused is what's going on. Right, so there shouldn't be any lava or water in the top section of this area now. So let's get rid of all these pipes. Don't need them anymore. Save myself some money and some lag. And this is the last little line of pipes from this very top layer that I'm getting rid of, which means I now have a ridiculous amount of pipe in my inventory. Free pipe! So now that I've disconnected all of those pipes, we need to figure out why those ones are not filling up with anything and why those ones are. Oh yeah, those would be the ones I've just disconnected. So that makes sense. So if we hop all the way back, back down, jeez, no wonder the minecart killed you. Oh, shut up. We shouldn't have anything joining together that's not supposed to be joined together now. And that means, ow, if I was to reconnect this should kick back into action. Or at least it shouldn't keep breaking. The problem then, however, is that our new little copper line pipe comes straight into the wall here and actually connects to this line, which I don't think it should. It should really be connecting to one of these big old tanks where we're storing the lava so that those pumps are not contradicting the pump flow that's happening with the other pipes. So that's what I need to do next. So I believe this is connected over behind the wall over here. So let's just make our way through here. There it is. So let's disconnect this and let's go on a little bit of a journey, Mr. Pipe. And behind this wall, yep, lava tank. So if we just bring this a couple of blocks further forward, do a little bit of the old diggy, pop that in there and that in there. Now we're connected to a tank. Excellent. And now this pipe has got lava in it, so that's working. Excellent. And now if I get rid of this block and put the pipe back in, we shouldn't have any issues at all. Apart from that. No, jeez, no, look what I've done. What? So now, are we going to have problems with this lava here? It doesn't look like we are, so that's good. And we shouldn't have problems with our thing taking all the lava out of those tanks now. I just want to check the tank that's actually connected to now and make sure it's not going to run out of lava anytime. Oh my goodness me, that is sucking lava away very quickly. That's using a lot of lava and clearly not filling itself up as quick as it's going. Probably because that pump's running very slowly. I think we might need to make that pump quicker. So that means I just need to add a speed controller onto this little part of the system here, which will actually make everything in here go absolutely crazy. But hopefully that won't cause us any problems elsewhere. Let's find out. Let's take that. This is the only thing that's powering anything. It's not being powered from that side. Well, geez. We got one on each side because I'm stupid and make everything symmetrical. It doesn't need to be on both sides because it's all connected. Oh, geez. If we remove that, you see, they both still work. So let's not have any power at all coming from this side. It doesn't need to be there. I just did it because I like things being symmetrical. However, that does now mean that this side is only now connected to 2 of the power things. So yeah, we've only got half the power there. So we do need to be able to route the power from the other power stations into here to add to this. So to connect all of our steam engines, all I've done is bring the power through the chain drives through at the bottom into these and then sent them across the very bottoms of our little structure over there, which does make our little structure a little bit floaty, but let's not worry about that. That means that round the other side, where we're going to be having our speed controller, we've got everything connected here, which means actually that the 4 steam engines on that side are connected and the 4 on that side are connected, but we're not actually connected together yet. So looking at the chunk borders, we've got a couple of blocks in order to be able to do that. So what I'm going to do is bring this up like that, bring that one across here like this, and then if I put that across there like that, now all of them are connected together. If I put that on there, it should show us, yes, we've got the full amount of stress available. So now I just need to jam a speed controller in there and get them connected to this line to repower all of my farms and things. So because I'm crazy and I like things symmetrical, I'm going to drag those out there like that. And that means then if I stick one of those on there and that there, we've now got speed control, hopefully, yes, just within the chunk borders that those are in. They don't have to be within the chunk borders, it just makes things a little bit safer when things start loading and unloading. So now all I need to do is reconnect it to this power, but I need to make sure it's going in the same direction it was before, because guaranteed I plug this in and everything starts going backwards. So let's pop that back on there. Before I set this going at absolute maximum speed, I need to go and check everything that's connected to it and make sure it's not going backwards. And also, I need to stick on my little stressometer to see how much stress we're using. So let's just pop that there. And we're not using much at this speed. So doing a little bit of the old free cam then. It's very difficult to tell if they're going backwards or not, and I don't suppose it really matters. What about all of our belts? Yes, they appear to be all going in the right direction, so that's a good sign. What about our iron farm? Is that all going in the right direction? I suppose this is speed controlled anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And the same thing should be the case for our copper farm, because that's all speed controlled as well. So nothing should be going in the wrong direction. The only other thing that this is all connected to is, of course, my workshop. Yes, it goes through a speed controller. Okay, so we shouldn't have any issues at all. So now I'm going to turn this up to maximum speed. And it still says that we've got lots and lots of remaining capacity, which I don't believe. It doesn't look like we're starving anything from our bucket system, at least not on this side. And if we check the other side, this doesn't appear to be starving. But how's that tank doing that we're sucking all of the lava out of? Let's go find out. Now the lava is going up faster than it's coming out. Hurrah for speed control! And somehow we've managed to save ourselves an awful lot of power, because it told me I only had 500,000 left, which, well, now I've got 8. It's fine. Everything's good. Don't worry about it. Let's just shh, don't worry about it. Kind of want to check that here though. Yeah, how am I only using like 300,000 now? I was using 500,000 before. Don't question it. It's all good. It's fine. Just let's just not question anything at all and just make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to work. And it looks like it is. Everything looks good. Everything's happy. At long last, it feels like it's taken forever. And that means I can finally sort these buildings out. So first thing I'm going to do is smash the roof on this one to bits, fix the wall, and then probably build this bottom part of this building out of a different type of block as opposed to the deep slate stuff that I'm using, so that it doesn't look the same as that one. Mini time-lapse time! We go. That looks a whole bunch better, especially with the piles of stuff we're making out of the front, mimicking what we've got going on at the iron farm. Just don't look too closely, because you might notice that this entire front bit here is a block off. It's a oh jeez. But at least it's working now. Speaking of working, how good are things looking up here? We got plenty of gold. But copper and zinc? Not even a shulker box worth of blocks. I bet that changes by the next episode.